So when I got into banking, I went into banking with the mind that I was going to be there for just 5 years. But when the 50 came, you know, I've gotten married, I've had children. And then I told my husband, look, this is my plan. I want to leave banking. And now this is the 50. I have to leave this banking and go into business. But before the 50 came, we had done other businesses. I had done several. We had a poultry farm. We built one poultry farm somewhere in Nasarawa State. We've done, I had a clothing line. You understand? So I had tried starting different things so that when I leave banking, like I said, I'll be able to move and continue into business. But things didn't work out exactly as we planned. The poultry business wasn't successful because of distance and because we didn't have so much time. That business ran out. We invested so much into it. And for the clothing line, I was doing that, but it wasn't sustainable enough for me to take it um as my primary means of income. Okay. So at that point we sat down, I had a conversation with my husband, and he said that this is not the time to leave because we're not balanced, we're not stable enough to live. Our finances cannot carry it at this point. So instead of 5 years, I ended up spending 11 years. I stayed extra 6 years because I can't just live like that. There has to be something coming in to cover for me while I go out pursuing my dreams or pursuing my passion of, doing very big things and running a very big business. You get? So I got into real estate. I'm going to tell you how I got into real estate, right? But for now, I got into real estate, and somehow, God just opened certain doors for me and businesses were coming. By the time we agreed that I could leave banking, that was in my 10th year in the banking career. And when I eventually told my husband, I said, okay, he thinks now this is the time I can actually leave. I actually didn't leave on that 30th year. I stayed extra some months into the 11th year. I was using that time to pray, to plan. I was using that time to get an office space. I was using that time to put things in place so that I don't just leave the office and go home and all that. So that by the time I was leaving at the 11th year, I already had an office set up. I already had businesses coming in. So we're just, taking off from there. What I'm saying this for that person who is looking at leaving a job to start a business. You really need to put the fundamentals in place. If you leave unplanned, you will end up begging and borrowing. Before I left the bank, I had reserve that could carry me for 2 to 3 years. I had made sure that I am not going to be PTO. Nobody will say that Julia left and notice had come back. No. When I left the bank, I had enough to carry me, to sustain me. So if you are thinking of doing something else, ensure that you have this reserve, ensure you have a proper plan in place, and most importantly, have the right people in the circle. So I want to invite anybody who is looking at joining a circle and have people who are wealth-minded and try to build their life and build the future they want to. Just comment circle below. I will send you the link to join.